What's up, Mac heads? What's up, YouTube? Hopefully everybody's doing all right out there today. I got a story I'm going to tell about my homeboy, Edward Walker, also known as E-Money, rest in peace, out the 40s. Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories.
Was it. I never stopped banging. I started banging hard, then I got so hard till it was a shame.
Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories. Today's story could have very easily been a profile, but instead, I'm going to just put it in story form. I met E-Money in 1984. He used to talk about the Vernon Avenue Hustlers, but he emphatically claimed Rollin 40 Hustlers. You knew E-Money, right?
E-Money, that's my boy.
Yeah, that was my guy right there, man.
E-Money, rest in peace.
Right. He was pushing Vernon Avenue Hustlers when we was in high school.
Yeah, he was pushing Vernon Avenue Hustler. He started off original King Boulevard Hustler on that side of Arlington, between Arlington and Western, off of King, between King and Vernon. They were the King Boulevard RFHs, Rollin Forty Hustlers back then, but they adopted Vernon Avenue Hustler in like 82, 83 with Big Sight, Champ, and all of them.
E-Money was born June 5th, 1967. E-Money went by the name Ed for short. Ed grew up on 41st Drive, Rollin 40 Crip territory as it is known today. And I remember us going to Crenshaw High School together. We had this graphic arts class. Our teacher was Mr. Johns. Johns kind of seemed like a half black, half Korean or something. I don't know, but that's what he seemed like. And he loved his black people. He loved his students. He wanted us all to do right. I remember he had got a computer put in his class. So this is the change. We're going into a new era right now because they still have printing presses and stuff. And you go to the dark room with the negatives and you slice up your negatives, all that old stuff. And what I remember most about E-Money, he was going to be efficient, clean, and good at everything he did. That's just how he was. So meeting him in 84, I can't give you the backstory on him. I don't know about his coming up and all that, but he did tell me he had went to the halls one time, and he vowed that he would never go back to the halls. He also told me this story, if I remember correctly, he had borrowed his mother's Cadillac, and he took the Cadillac to a shop that sold Filas and Sergio Tacchinis and stuff like that. And this was the summer of 84. And he rammed the Cadillac through the glass, if I remember correctly. And he got all this Fila stuff. He filled the car up with all this Fila stuff. So E-Money was fresh every day. He was fresh every day. He lived up to that name. He would have the Fila shoes, the Fila outfits, Sergio Tacchini here and there. You know what I'm saying? He had some Fila hats and stuff. And we got real close. We got closer as the school year started in 84, the 84-85 school year. And I remember he used to come to school with a pocket full of money. And he would be showing off the money. He'd be talking about, get you some. Yeah, I got money, man. Money ain't a thing, all this old stuff. And Johns used to get pissed off. Johns used to tell him, boy, put that money up. Boy, do something with that money. Invest with that money. And he would give scenarios of him owning these apartments on Normandy in the H-Ray Gangsters. And so he would talk about how we could probably go to trade tech and become some hell of a graphic arts people who were making a lot of money back then. I don't know about nowadays, but back then he was saying we could make a lot of money in that. And he would get mad when we would say cuz. He'd be like, you guys, always talking that gang shit. You guys out there selling your drugs. You guys won't live to see 21 if you engage in those activities. And he would preach this to us in a mean way, so he would always get offended. He'd be like, oh man, nobody trying to hear what you talking about. I make more money than you. And he would be flashing these wads of money. And I remember one day, Johns had asked him, I guess Johns put his pride to the side or whatever, and John said, you got change for $100? He said, no, I ain't got nothing but $100 bills. That's all I got. Of course, Johns got pissed off. Boy, you better do something with that money. You're not going to live to see 21. And he mainly, like we had homies up in there. My homie Mike Miller was in there. Lil D from 60s was in there. A few other cats was in there. This dude named Maurice and a few other dudes. But he would specifically single out E-Money and myself. And he had designated me to work on the computer. Of course, I used to have a bunch of words misspelled. And it wasn't because I couldn't spell. It's because of the typing. And he would get mad because I typed slow. So he tried to get this female to do the typing. And she would have misspelled words and stuff. And so he was always angry at us. But I remember he would call me in on the weekends. He'd be like, Mac. Well, he didn't call me Mac. He'd be like, Kev, you want to make some money on Saturday? And I'd be like, hell yeah. So I would come work on Saturdays with him, make a little change, right? You know, he would do these jobs for outside sources, and you know, he would break me off a little change. And he would also try to get some of those in during the week, but because we're students, a lot of people didn't really know how to get the projects done. And so come the weekend, he had to get them jobs out, rush jobs. So Johns was cool, man. He was cool. He wanted better for us all. He wanted us all to understand life and moving forward to where we wouldn't put ourselves in danger from banging or hustling. And E-Money would always ask me, like I said, I don't know his background, but he had told me he went to juvenile hall and he'd never go back. And he meant it. He used to always say it, as a matter of fact. He would always say that. One day we was in class and Ed goes into the dark room with me to develop some film. And we got to talking about him not going back to jail no more. And he was telling me, he said, man, I'll blow a police head off. And the whole time I'm thinking he just capping. But he said it like he meant it, but I just didn't know him in that fashion. And I remember him telling me, he was like, man, if they catch me, they gonna have to kill me. Again, you really don't believe a guy when he tells you that? Almost all of us will say that sometime. When the police pull up on us, we throw our gun, we throw our hands up in the air, we let them apprehend us. And that's just the way it is. Why you think so many people been to prison? Why you think so many people been arrested and went to jail? Because we always try to get away. We think we slicker than them. We think we can get away. So I always remember that while we was in school, like, man, E-Money crazy, man, E-Money crazy. Not knowing if he was for real or not, but I thought E-Money was somebody special as far as knowing what he'd do if he was ever in a situation where, you know, it goes down and he might possibly end up in jail. He would always ask me Crip questions like, who this set get along with? Who that set get along with? Who's over here? Who's over there? And I thought it was a little bit odd because he had already been to juvenile hall, so I would think he would know a lot of that stuff. But he would always consult with me about the gang shit, right? And I remember he used to wear this fly-ass earring, couple $1,000 a price tag for the earring. Then he started wearing this blue earring as he started to evolve and as he kind of switched over to the Rollin 40 Crips. So He didn't wear a lot of red feeler stuff. He wore a lot of the blue or red, white, and blue feeler stuff, or all white feeler stuff with just, maybe some red and blue lines in it. Same with the white feeler shoes, and he would wear the blue feeler shoes sometimes. And we just got tighter and tighter. And I remember I had got this Datsun 280Z. And he ended up getting a BMW. So he would ask me about my paint, my rims, what type of rims I thought should go on a BMW, what type of sounds, all this stuff. So now he went from asking me about gangs to the cars, and he's in exchange, basically, he's telling me about drugs. I don't know about the crack and all that shit, the powder, cocaine and stuff. I know people using it. You know what I'm saying? I know Pops is engaging, but I really don't know the whole get down what Pops is doing and how this stuff making so much money. But he would tell me, Kev, get with this, man. You get this money. I give you whatever you need. And he told me he had bought 9 ounces and, he took off from there. So long story short, man, we graduate from Crenshaw High. So we gone from the Crenshaw High. And I don't see E-Money no more, except for driving down Crenshaw Boulevard. So we rekindled our friendship. Him and his family ended up moving to the 5-4 Big Time Hustler neighborhood on 55th Street, Normandy. It was during that time that E started to move up in the game and become well known for his great quality of work. That neighborhood would become known as 5-5 Neighborhood Crips Turf. And I remember we was over there by that burger place on Crenshaw by Lamert. And he asked me, he said, you ain't ready to get down yet? Like, nah, man, I ain't ready to get down yet. This is like 1986. And he said, man, I'm doing good, man. I got a couple of them things, man, I'll front you 9 or whatever. And he had high prices. So I didn't want nothing from him anyway, high price, but he used to tell me about his quality. He reminded me a lot of my father about the quality was more important than the quantity, right? Keep your customers coming back, keep your customers happy. And so, like 87, I'm driving through over by the swap meet, by the Slauson swap meet. And I end up on, I believe that's 55th. Could have been 57, but I believe it was 55th. I run across him. I'm like, what's up, E? I pull over, get out, we talk, we rapping. And he tell me, man, I live down the street. Now you come over anytime, man, get whatever you need. So I go down there with him. I go down to his spot or his house. He told me he lived here, so I go down there. Only that one time. Never went back, never got no work from him, none of that. But I see him on Crenshaw from time to time. And he would get out, and I would get out. And we would just talk. We would rap, man. Cool dude, man. Cool dude. Always trying to influence me with the hustling. But now, I'm in the hustling. Come 86, I'm starting to get down. 87, I'm getting down. I ain't full-fledged. I just get down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Stop. Get down a little bit. Stop. Turn other people on. Put them in the game and stuff like that. Tell them how it go. And so E-Money, I got his number, but I never called him about no work, ever. And the reason why I'm telling this story today and I'm remembering Edward is because I see people online lately talking about how old they are and how they teachers told them they wouldn't see 25. Man, back in my era, when I was in school, our teacher, Johns, used to say 21. So if y'all teachers was giving y'all 25, he thought y'all was soft as doctor's cotton. Or he just thought y'all was a little bit late. But I remember, man, when they move into the spot, as E is there and he's building his reputation, the neighbors are starting to complain. The neighbors are getting upset at all the traffic that E-Money is attracting. January 8th, 1988, I got some sad news. E-Money had killed a sheriff deputy, this guy named Miller. E-Money wasn't playing. When them sheriff came through that door, he got off on him. Boom, 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 boom. Shot dude in the back of the head. Miller had been on the force for over 10 years, and he worked out of Lennox Station Narcotics. He would take pictures during raids, holding kilos, just happy, smiling, to get somebody off the streets, to take some drugs from somebody, and, you know, that type of stuff. That's what they do. And he goes in to E-Money's spot or house, and he gets chipped. He gets shot in the head. He gets chipped. The back of the head, he gets chipped. They shoot E-Money up. E-Money gets shot probably 3 or 4 times. I think they killed E-Money. When you hear people talk about it, everybody thinks the police killed E-Money. Police report in the newspaper says E-Money killed himself. But I always remember he used to tell me, man, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Under no circumstances am I going back to jail. And he meant that. But I also remember Mr. John said we wouldn't make it to C21 if we gangbanged or sold dope. E-Money was 20 years old. He didn't make it to 21. He would have been 21 later that year. And I was always sad about the homies passing. And I always tell my younger homies about E-Money. I always kept his name alive. I always had good things to say about E-Money. Remember him being one of the first hustlers that I actually knew. Him and Fat Donnie, rest in peace, from 60s. 2 of the early hustlers that I knew while we were still in school. Still in high school, and they was out getting theirs on, making money and having jewelry and all that type of stuff. The crazy part about this raid is that was not sheriff jurisdiction. Not only was it not sheriff's jurisdiction, they raided toward the evening, like 7 o'clock in the evening. Whereas if you're from LA, you know LA, the raids usually take place in the morning, unless they go get a search warrant. It takes a while to get the search warrant. Then they'll come in the evening. But I just found out the other day. I just heard about the helicopter that came and landed over there, maybe on 56th Street in Normandy, somewhere over there. I'm assuming the helicopter came to transport they folks up out of there. That's what I'm assuming. Other people make it sound like, you know, that was part of the raid. I have a hard time believing that. But nevertheless, man, that ain't nothing that happens every day in the ghetto. Not in the black community where a helicopter comes and actually lands in the middle of the street. His mom's was there at the time, and she ended up getting like 11 years for voluntary manslaughter. Her boyfriend, whoever dude was, according to the court reports in the newspapers, he told on everybody in the house. So E-Money's little brother caught a case. They end up dropping the case on him. Mom's pled guilty to lesser charges, so she gets 11 years. Which I thought was a shame, personally, because she just lost a son. She just lost a son. You charging her other son, and then you're gonna charge her. But I mean, I guess we have to accept the fact that we live in a criminal lifestyle. Anything go. But I want to say rest in peace to E-Money. He meant everything he told me by not going back. And him just being serious about everything he did, man. But that's going to do it for my story today, man. Rest in peace, E-Money. If you liked the video, click like. Share it with anybody from 40s or anybody that was hustling back in the days. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and don't be afraid to leave a comment. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.